This video is going to talk about an airlock. When you first fill your tub, there's a high potential there'll be an airlock in your coil. The reason that happens is the water is going to fill through this hole first, and the water is going to rise up. And as the water level rises in the tub, the water will begin coming down this pipe, and eventually some air will get trapped. If you have an airlock in the coil, it will not heat your tub effectively. You will always have to, when you fill your tub, you'll always have to flush the coil to get rid of an airlock. There are two ways to do that. The easiest is if you have a garden hose, when both the bottom and the top holes are below the water line, you'll take your garden hose. Jacob, come closer, buddy, to show this. And you'll direct the garden hose into that top, outlet, what's the outlet hole point, and you'll push that water through the coil out through the bottom. And it doesn't hurt to also do the same thing with the bottom hole. Take the garden hose and direct that water into that hole and through the coil and out the top. So that's what you'll do is if you have a garden hose. If you don't have a garden hose, there's another way to clear the coil of any airlocks is you'll take your plugs, plug up both the top and the bottom. All right, with both the top and bottom plugged up, you'll momentarily undo the bottom, and this will be for getting rid of airlocks if you do not have a garden hose. Let's say you filled it with buckets. And then what you'll do is you will open up this top plug just up until you have some water going into the coil, and then close that, put that plug back in to stop the flow of water. Okay, and then you'll reconnect down here, ensuring that this is straight. You don't want it to be at an angle. You tighten that up. Then once that's tight, you can undo your plugs. You always want to remember to undo your plugs. You never want to heat the coil with these plugs in, because obviously that will create a lot of pressure and things are going to go kaboom. So always remember to undo these plugs. But those are two ways of clearing the coil of any airlocks. If you don't want any airlocks, they'll create a bad situation. It won't heat the water. It'll be very inefficient. And you also want to never do this. If you have a fire going, you want to completely let the fire die down. You want that coil to be cool to the touch before you try to flush out the coil. Once you have your fire going, if you have an airlock, you won't be able to clear out the airlock. You gotta let that fire die down first before you do these two methods. And how will you know you have an airlock? The water will be coming out in spurts. You'll have spurts of water coming out. That's a clear and obvious sign that there is an airlock, and you gotta let your fire die down and get air out of your system. Thank you.